Hello everyone, welcome. I'm Teresa and this is my first ever video. This is totally outside my comfort zone. Never thought I'd be doing this, but I've had some people encourage me to, so I'm going to give it a try. I have a few pieces I've made from the December bargain bead box, Earth and Elegance, and some other pieces I've made just from beads in my stash. I'm sure if you enjoy beading and jewelry making like I do, you've heard of bead box bargains and bargain bead box, but in case you haven't, Bargain Bead Box is a monthly subscription of beads for $19.49 a month, and that includes shipping. It's a curated box of beads with a different theme each month, beautiful beads and findings, and Beadbox Bargains is their sister store. They have phenomenal prices, and if you're a subscriber to the Bargain Bead Box, you get a 30% off coupon to use in the Beadbox Bargains store as many times as you want during the month, which makes the value even greater. I shop from there all the time, probably more than I should, definitely more than my husband would like. I'm just kidding. As long as it makes me happy, he really doesn't mind at all. As I said, this is my first ever video, and I'm really nervous, so I'm just going to jump in and see how this goes. My first piece here is using the red jasper donut and the chandelier component. I threaded some chain through the donut and the component and put a piece of wire through the top and did a wire wrapped loop. I hung some sections of chain from the bottom with some little 3mm fire polish beads from my stash. And then I did the 8mm red jasper bead, a spacer bead, and a green bead from my stash. I wanted to bring a little bit of green into it. I have a blouse that I wanted to wear it with, and it matched that. I did a wire wrap loop at the top, and then I went up with the 8mm red jasper beads, the peach colored barrel beads, some more of the green beads from my stash, the 10mm red jasper beads, the barrel shaped red jasper beads with some bead caps from my stash, and then I just did the same pattern up, and I finished it with a very long piece of chain so that I could just put it around my neck and not have to have a clasp. So that's that piece. The next piece I have was inspired by a process I learned from Kelly with Bead Jewelry and Artwork. She makes some beautiful jewelry using random patterns of beads in sort of a boho style. I'll try to post a link to her channel in the description box below. I've watched her make such beautiful jewelry using this technique and decided to try it myself, which was hard for me because I'm not a random girl. I guess I must think if I don't do everything in pattern, the bead gods are going to come down and smite me. But I tried it and it was a lot of fun, so much so that I made a few other pieces using the same process with just some beads from my stash. This one mostly uses the beads from the Bargain Bead Box. I have the larger red jasper beads, the spacer beads, and the rondelle beads. I have some little copper beads and silver beads from my stash. I did mixed metals with the silver bead caps. I have some green fire polish beads from my stash, some little tiny 2mm black beads, and just on up through there with random patterns until I got to the end. It was a lot of fun, more fun than I imagined it would be. I was really happy with how it turned out, and I used a copper pendant that I got in a Sam's bead box a few months ago. This piece is just, it is in pattern. It's a piece that I did. I don't know for sure where I got all these beads, probably mostly from Beadbox Bargains. I know that the butterflies came from Beadbox Bargains, just with some different lengths of chain and just in a pattern on up through different shades of purple, some little pops of red in there, some little tiny purple seed beads, and fire polish beads. I love fire polish beads. They're so pretty. And I finished it off with some chain and a lobster clasp with an extender chain. This piece is another one using random patterns of beads that I learned from Kelly with Bead Jewelry and Artwork. It's different shades of purple. I guess you can tell by now that purple is a favorite color. I have a dragonfly pendant, some bellflowers, and a little heart on a ring. And then I just did random patterns, different shades of purple and silver, and some pink beads on up through with some silver spacers and bead caps. And it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed doing it this way. I can see lots more like this in my future. Again, with a long piece of chain so that it would fit over the head. This one is another one that I made with a random pattern of beads. I have a owl and a leaf and a little pine cone for the pendant. And then it's just random colors of turquoise and teal, silver, some little pink bicones, silver bead caps, all things that I just had in my stash. And again, I finished it off with a little, I don't know what that is, a little a piece of chain, long piece of chain, so that it would go over the head. I like to do that. I don't like to fiddle with clasps very much. This necklace is one that I made. I think these beads were in the August bargain bead box, the howlite beads and the key pendant. They're just the howlite beads, and these larger ones I think they're called shell beads. They're not howlite, but the rest of them are. And I just used some antique silver findings and did wire wrapped loops, and there are some simple loops in here too, I think. I did the toggle clasp on the side, and I used some links here. It's asymmetrical, and I finished it off with some, I think that's gunmetal chain, a long piece of gunmetal chain in the back. So that's that piece. This necklace is made with some Jesse James beads. My nephew got me a little mix of Jesse James beads for Christmas. They know at Christmas time I want beads. And it's a coral mix. I used a caged bead for the pendant, and I just did wire wrap loops and some links of chain between the other beads, some gold bead caps on some of them, and just placed them kind of randomly along the necklace. These beads I did a little bit of wire wrapping on, and it's just one continuous piece, no clasp. I just love Jesse James beads. They're so pretty. I hope to eventually be able to subscribe to their box. I have an order that I placed with them. I haven't received it yet, just did some of their past mixes and some of the chain reaction. And that's everything I have to show you today, so thank you all so much for joining me. I appreciate you spending time with me. I hope to do more videos in the future. I have a somewhat large bead box bargains order here that I plan to share with you in the next video. I've been beading for about 7 years now, and I've mostly done bead weaving, but recently I've gotten more into stringing and wire working. I have tons of little tiny beads, seed beads, 2, 3, 4mm beads, but not a lot of the larger ones. So that was what I tried to focus on in this order, building up my stash of larger beads. I do have a website where I sell my jewelry. It's Teresa's Handmade Jewelry, and I'll put a link to it in the description box below in case you're interested. I would be thrilled if you'd subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you're notified when I upload a new video. So until next time, I hope you all have a great day. Take care.